Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 1968 Plymouth Barracuda Formula S. Now this has 1500 horsepower, 1100 pounds-feet of torque from an 8.9 litre twin supercharged V8 engine. The car itself now weighs 3,111 pounds, has all-wheel drive, off-road tyres and off-road suspension, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 2.966 seconds, 0 to 100 in 5.596 seconds, and going to a top speed of 248 miles an hour. So yeah, obviously this was a muscle car in its original guise, so yeah, it's not really meant for going off-road, and as you can see the handling and braking aren't particularly great, but speed, acceleration and launch are all rather excellent, and the off-road capability is reasonable as well. But yeah, not expecting much from this, given it's got more than it's got 5 times the power it had originally, and way more in the way of torque, and from a much larger engine. So yeah, could be a bit of a handful, but it should be fun nonetheless to see what it can do. So yeah, let's take it out on this course and see what we're going to be able to manage. So the Aston Martin DBX, which was the previous car in the previous episode, nearly got into the top 10. Actually, it got to number 12. So yeah, going to be interested to see what this can do in comparison to that. It's very rare that one car following the other in a line of the episodes match each other or supersede one another. So I'm not expecting that, quite frankly, given what this has got going on against it. If it could come close to the Aston Martin, then that'll at least be good, considering that was a rather decent SUV, quite frankly. There's those brakes not doing particularly well. Bouncing around. It's already had quite soft suspension originally, so jacking it up is probably going to make it even worse. Just hoping that the amount of power it's got will help overcome any areas that it's not particularly quick in. Primarily going to be the corners, got a lot of understeer there. Big air time. Luckily it did not really bounce back up, which I was worried about, given tall suspension now, while also being quite soft. Highly doubt this is getting the most power out of this engine as well, with these surfaces and the lack of grip this car seems to have at times. It's bouncing off the rev limiter, for instance. Bouncing again. Bouncing around like that can be incredibly dangerous, because obviously you do not have the steering or the braking to control the car. Despite all of its flaws, it doesn't seem to be particularly slow. And again, that's just me judging it on how it feels, not on the time itself. It's more than 150 mile an hour down there, which is pretty good. The understeer is, if anything's going to slow this down, it's going to be the understeer. Especially when it comes to silver corners. Drag it into the inline. Pretty quick across the finish line at 142 mile an hour and a time of 3 minutes 17.589. That's actually way quicker than the Aston Martin DBX in the previous episode by 6 seconds or so. And yeah, that puts us comfortably into the top 5, beating the likes, actually into the top 3, we are 3rd place, beating the McLaren 765 LT and the Nissan GT-R Nismo, while bumping the McLaren 620R out of the top 5 and bumping the Ferrari SF90 Stradale out of the top 10. So yeah, that was remarkably quick, given, like I said, it had understeer issues at times and it was bouncing about a fair bit as well, and yet despite that, the immense amount of power going into a car that weighs barely £3,000 clearly overcame any of its handling flaws. So yeah, massively impressed by that. Really surprised. It's the oldest car in the top 10 by a huge margin, because you'd have to go up to 2014 to find the next oldest car in the top 10. So yeah, you're looking at what, 46 years. That is massive in terms of age, and yeah, really wasn't expecting this to be all that quick, given, it's a muscle car. It's not meant for going off-road. Certainly wasn't meant for this amount of power and torque or acceleration and top speed. It's going to 100 quicker than it could ever go to 60 in its stock form. So yeah, really impressed and really surprised. But then again, just goes to show that not every car's going to meet your expectations. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.